Hi everyone, it's Bethany and I'm going to be trying out my brand new knife blade in this video. I'm really excited because it's brand new to me. I've never used a knife blade before, and the knife blade is only for the Cricut Maker. So I have my Cricut Maker out here and I'm going to be cutting some basswood from Cricut on my machine today. So I thought it would be fun to create a little wooden sign for my front door since fall is here, and I thought it would be really cute to do a little shiplap sign and then put some wooden letters on the top. So I got this sign, let me see, this is from Michael's and it came in natural wood, but then I applied a few coats of this chalk paint, and this is the white Adirondack chalk paint that is from Folk Art Home Decor. It's my favorite to use. I'll admit the wood was really rough, so I did a pretty good sand with my electric sander prior to painting, and it really helped smooth it out, and then I applied more chalk paint. And then for other materials, we are going to be using, of course, the basswood, and then I have a strong grip mat, so it's the purple mat. My knife blade is already in my machine, and then I have some painter's tape to go ahead and secure my basswood to my mat, because that is what is recommended. And then other things I have some black chalk paint, and I'm going to be using this, I believe, for my letters that are going to cut out, but I'm also thinking of doing a little leaf design on here too, so I'm probably going to grab some other paint as well to paint the leaves with. And then I also have some little ribbon here, and this is from Joanns, so this is really pretty. I think I'm going to use this, but if not, I will grab another design and grab that. But we'll just kind of see how it all comes together. This is my first time making something like this, so some of the things I have out, but I may change my mind just as I'm designing, and that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and make sure I know the size of my sign here. So it looks like I have about 13 inches. It's a little shy of 13 inches. And that will be helpful when I go into Cricut Design Space to get everything sized and ready to cut. Okay, let's do our little question of the day. And while I'm crafting, make sure you pop down into the comments and answer this question. So for this question, we are answering hot cocoa or eggnog. Okay, so make sure you go down and answer that question as I'm crafting and let me know what you think of this craft. Let's hop into Cricut Design Space and we will get everything prepped and ready to go and cut on the basswood.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to the shapes and grab a circle and just create a template for the wooden sign that I'm working with, so it'll help me size my letters and design that I want to put on there. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say 13 inches, and then I will go ahead and make this white just because my sign has already been painted white, and that will just help me visually get everything all designed. So then I'm going to go ahead and add some letters, and I'm going to do that with the text feature. So I'm going to go to the text, and then for font I'm going to search for feather, and then I'm going to use another font as well. So for feather, I'm going to type out welcome, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to size it up quite a bit, and then I'm going to grab all of my letters, come over here and ungroup so that I can go ahead and just get them all placed together. You can also decrease the lines or letter spacing and bring these together, but I just personally like to do it this way. And so I'm just going to connect them just how I'd like them. And then once they are all connected how I think looks best, I'm going to select everything and I'm going to weld them together. Okay, so that looks great. I'm going to bring that right over here, and then I'm going to go back to my text and I'm going to search for a text that's called Four Seasons Home Decor. It's a really nice text. And then with this text, I am going to type out autumn. Okay, so those are the two combinations I'm going to use for this sign. So I'm just going to come over here and start sizing everything up. And then I'm also going to add some little leaf decor on this as well. I think that will look really nice. Okay, so I'm thinking I might do something like this. Okay, and then with this one, I am going to make it just so that, there we go. just so that it all lines up pretty evenly there. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to want to cut out my letters on one piece of basswood. So what I'm doing here is I'm just making sure that I am under the 6 inches because my basswood is 6 inches by 12 inches. So I was just making sure that placed together that this would be below the 6 inch. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to images and I am going to search for leaf. And there's a lot of results that come up, so I'm just going to scroll through here and see which I like best. Okay, I think I like this, so I'm going to go ahead and select this, and I'm going to say Insert Images. Okay, so now with this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to rotate it this way, and I was thinking of just doing a little leaf design down at the bottom. And I'm leaving a little bit of room up here just because I think I'm going to do something with my ribbon. I'm not quite sure exactly how I'm going to do it yet. Again, this is going to be something that I just kind of visually design as I go, but I'll walk you through my process. So then what I'm going to do with this leaf is I'm going to come over and duplicate it, and then I am going to come up here and say flip horizontal, and then I have 2, and I think that will look really neat. And I'm actually going to take both of these and I am going to say flip vertical. Okay, there we go. And I think that is going to look really nice. So I'm just going to kind of size, or not size, but arrange these how I think they're going to look on the actual board once I have them all cut out, but I think this looks pretty good to me. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide this circle because it was just being used as a template, and then I am going to take my letters here and I am going to just attach them together because I'm going to cut these on one piece of basswood, and then I'm going to cut my little leaves on another piece just because I'm not going to have quite enough room on my first piece. Okay, and then I'm also going to just make these all the same color. That way it all cuts on one mat. So I can just make this the green color. That way you guys can really see it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to Make It. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just start arranging everything on my mat because it's all going to be cut out of certain size pieces of basswood. So my basswood is 12 inches by 6 inches. So what I'm going to do is I am going to place my first piece right here, and I'm going to place my basswood at the 1 inch mark, and then it will finish at the 7 inch mark. And it looks like I might be able to do maybe one leaf down here as well, just to use most of my material. And then I will go ahead and have another little piece of basswood ready for this one, and I'll place it right over here. Okay, and one thing I read is you want to make sure that you don't have your design going off of your basswood just because it can hurt your blade. So you want to make sure that it's definitely within the 6 inch requirement. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click continue, and then it's going to locate my maker. And then I'm going to go ahead and browse all materials, and I'm going to go down. Okay, I scroll down to other, and then I am going to click on the Basswood 1/16, and it has the little Cricut emblem right here because this one is a Cricut product. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. I'll go ahead and star that since I have quite a bit of other materials. Oh, maybe I have too many stars. Well, that's okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and click done. And then it's going to give us a couple reminders. We're going to have to move our star wheels all the way to the right to make sure that they are out of the way. And then we are going to use our strong grip mat with some masking tape on all 4 sides just to make sure that everything is secure for cutting. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and reference my mat as I'm getting my basswood placed down on my mat just to make sure I have everything lined up, and then we'll get it ready to cut.
Okay, so the basswood comes in 4 sheets. So I have 4 at that 12 inch by 6 inch, and it's really easy to trim with a knife blade. So I have just made several passes because I'm just cutting down a little piece for that final leaf just so I can save material. So I'm just going to run over this a few times with my True Control knife, And then I can just kind of bend, and it looks like I need a little bit more down here, but I can go ahead and separate that, and then I have a little piece. And there looks to be like a little green mark on here, but that's okay because I can either place it this way through my machine, or I'm going to be painting this anyway, so I am not worried at all that there's a little bit of color on there. Okay, so I'm going to need one sheet of my full size, and then I have a little tiny sheet as well, and so then I can go ahead and put these back with my other craft supplies. Okay, so I have a brand new purple mat. This is the strong grip mat that's recommended when cutting the basswood, and I am going to line that up right at the 1-inch mark. And I did it that way to give myself plenty of room for the tape as well. And this is definitely sticky. It's living up to its strong grip name. Okay, and then I also have a little leaf right around the 8-inch mark, which looks just about good. And I can put it right here. I'm putting it a little bit over because what I want to do is I want to make sure that I leave this whole area for my star wheels. So I'm going to bring that back up actually, and I need to bring it a little higher. Okay, so that looks good. Okay, so now I'm just taking my tape, and I am just going to tape all 4 sides of each piece to make sure it's really down on the mat. Okay, so I have everything taped down really good, and it's okay if the blade runs onto the tape. It will just cut right through it. You just want to make sure your blade doesn't run off of the wood. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my maker all prepped. So I need to move my star wheels, and then we'll get it loaded. Okay, so now I just want to make sure that all of these star wheels are pushed all the way to the right. And the basswood is really, really soft, so if these star wheels were to run over them, they would make indentations in the wood. So you just want to make sure that those are nice and out of the way. And that's also why they are recommending not to have anything wider than 12 inches because it allocates some space for those star wheels to go. Okay, so now I have everything on my mat, and I am all ready to load and get cutting. So I'm going to go ahead and load my machine. And Cricut Design Space has already warned me that this is going to be a long cut time, so I'm just going to be sitting here monitoring it, but getting some other crafting done in the background. But what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and click the Cricut button and let it start its first pass. Okay, so I'm noticing that I can take out the middles of my letters, and I am on pass number 9. So I'm going to go ahead and let it complete this pass, and then I think I'm going to be done. So I'm going to go ahead and click the arrow button to unload it because I'm noticing that I have already cut all the way through, so I don't need to continue doing my cut. Okay, so I'm just going to start by removing the tape off of the sides. And you'll see that it doesn't matter if your tape goes over your design because the blade will just cut right into the tape. Just slices right through it, just like butter. So don't worry about that. one thing you want to never do is unload your mat while it's cutting. So if for some reason you have an error message or you need to fix something on your blade, you want to make sure that you don't unload your mat. I made that mistake and had to start completely over. So what happened was I got a little piece of tape stuck on my blade, and my Cricut told me that it needed to get the blade clean, so I accidentally unloaded the mat, and it was completely an accident. I even knew I wasn't supposed to unload it, and I accidentally clicked the wrong button, and it ejected my mat. And what happens is when you go to refeed your mat into the machine, it doesn't align in the exact same spot, so it cut in a different spot. So I had to load new wood and start over, which is really disheartening. But you know what? It's a learning process, and this is my first time, so it's just one of those things that you have to learn the hard way. Okay, so now all of the tape is removed, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to lightly try to take, I might even turn my mat over here and kind of bend the mat away from the wood. And this wood is really, really delicate, so you don't want to crack it or break it. So bending the mat over the wood is definitely a preference. Okay, so now I have my wood pieces here, and now I can just start. Ooh, that one broke. Oh goodness, that's okay. I can totally fix that. See how delicate it is? I don't even know if that was me or what, but that is okay. We'll just glue that together. It's such a clean little cut that it's going to be just fine. Okay, and that would be cute to use with something too. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of pop this one out. Look how cute that is, the little welcome. And then I can just go ahead and remove the tape there. Okay, and then I'll be really careful with this one. There we go. And my last little pieces are right down here. So I'm just going to gently remove them from the little base and pop out my centers. And you can even use a little weeding tool to kind of help pop the middles out too. So we have our little A, and I'll take off the tape here. These are looking really sweet. It's also important to know that your machine might have to do more passes. It might depend on your machine and your blade. So just because I stopped mine at a certain point doesn't mean that yours will necessarily be ready to stop there. Okay, and so my last little N is done. So now what I can do is I am going to paint my little letters, and I'm going to paint my little leaves as well, or my little vines. And I think I'm going to do the letters in that black chalk paint, and then I will do the leaf in some sort of mint or green. Okay, so I have my letters all painted, and I used just one coat of this chalk paint. This is my favorite. It covers so well, and it only took one coat. So it covered really, really well. It's easy to use. It's nice and thick. And then for the little leaf embellishment, I used this chalk paint, which is not my favorite. I, in my opinion, think it's way too watery, and so I just don't really prefer it, but the color is really, really pretty. So this is called Vintage, and it is Deco Art Americana Decor Chalky Finish paint. So not my favorite paint to use, but the color is really, really nice, and I did about 3 coats to get to where I liked it. Since it's so watery, it just kind of gives like a whitewash look for quite a bit until you get enough coats and to get a full coverage. So another thing I wanted to mention is this sign has a little built-in hanger with some rope on the back here. So it originally is supposed to hang this way, but first of all, it's driving me crazy that this is not perfectly center, because it's not going to hang center because it's kind of off center. So if that makes sense. What I decided to do was I wanted to have a more intentional way of hanging it that was a little bit prettier as well. So I just took some of my ribbon and then I had my husband just put some staples in the back so that it's going to hang this way. So I'll just go ahead and snip this off in just a moment. But I wanted to tell you how I was going to hang mine. I wanted mine to go this way also just because I thought it would look nicer with the letters, having the lines this way, but it's personal preference. It's all up to you. My eye just visually liked it going this way. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start getting everything arranged how I'd like it. So I'm going to end up putting a bow up here, which I think will look really nice. And then I am going to put the welcome, I believe, right around here. And nothing is permanent until it's glued down, so you can just place things on your sign and then rearrange them as needed, but I kind of like to get everything laid out and then just kind of get that as a starting point. So I think I might even move everything up just a tad more, and we'll see how that looks. Okay, so I think I like how that looks. I think that that's looking really, really nice. So I'm probably going to do my bow last, but I just like to have it where it's going to be so that I know roughly where to put everything else. It kind of just gives everything a starting point so then I know what to do next. So now what I think I'm going to do is start gluing. So I think I will start with the autumn maybe and go from there. So I'm going to get my middle pieces just really perfected, and I may start in the middle and go out. And then one of the nicest things is this little break in the wood here is going to provide for a real nice line to get everything lined up on. So now you can use any type of adhesive that you would like. If there's something else that you like to use for signs or gluing wood on wood, go for it. That's totally fine. I am going to do hot glue. I love hot glue and I think it works really, really well. So I'm just going to apply some hot glue to the back of my letters, and I'm just going to take my time and individually place them on my sign here. Okay, I know this sounds silly, but have you guys ever worked on a project for so long that contains words and you've just looked at it so much that all of a sudden you start questioning if the word is even spelled right? I'm having that moment with autumn. I was like, oh my goodness, I hope I spelled that right. I do it sometimes when I've just worked so long on something and then all of a sudden words just start looking weird, if that makes sense. It's like you know it's spelled right, but after a while you just kind of start questioning it. But this is looking so cute, and it's laying down really, really nice. I like the instant gratification of hot glue too. Like, it just dries super quick and it's stuck on there. Okay, so this is the last letter for autumn, and it works really well for me to start in the middle and go out. For some reason it just helps me with centering, but you can do that in any order that you'd like. I'm just cleaning up some of the hot glue, but I think it's looking really, really good so far, and I love the raised texture look. I think it makes it look super, super dimensional when you have wood on wood. I think it looks super nice. So now obviously I can't glue this entire thing because the glue would dry. So I am just going really quickly, getting some main areas, and then I'm going to lay it down real quick. Okay, that's kind of why you want to have everything kind of centered where it's going to go, so that once it's time to lay it down, it's all ready. Okay, that looks really nice. Okay, so the question also today was hot cocoa or eggnog, I believe. And I have to admit that I do not like eggnog. It's just never, I wonder if it's maybe an acquired taste or one of those things that like people who like eggnog kind of grew up with eggnog. I'm not sure, but it's just not something I grew up with, I guess. We didn't ever had it quite often. So it's one of those things that I just never really acquired a taste for, but let me know what you guys think. So between the two, I would have to say that I prefer to have hot cocoa for sure. Okay, And then down here at the bottom, okay, so now I'm just placing the little vines on down here, and if you'll remember, one of mine snapped a little bit, but you know what, it's gonna be totally fine. And for my first project, it was a learning moment that basswood is very soft, very fragile. It's durable enough to get the job done, and I really like working with it, but the only time you really want to be super careful is when you're trying to get it up off that mat. So no problem, because I'm just going to glue it together right now, and honestly, I don't think anyone is ever going to know, except for me and you. But that's okay. This is just for my front door, and I think it's going to look perfect. So now it is all done. So now I'm just going to glue my, oh yeah, you cannot even tell that there was a little snap in there. So we are good to go. Teachable moment, and it still looks great. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue down my bow. So I'm going to place a very generous amount of glue on the back of my bow. Turn it over, and don't worry about these. I'm going to get them, oops, I'm going to get them all placed as well. And I'm going to fluff it a little bit. It looks good. So what I like to do with these is I like to just put a tiny dab of glue on my sign and just kind of help the little bottoms stay where I want them. That way they're not hanging over my letters or anything like that. I think that looks really nice. Okay, and then I'll do one right here. Okay, just like that. And I think that looks great. Okay, what do you guys think? I think that this was a really fun first project with learning all about the knife blade and learning how to cut basswood. So I've been really anxious. I've had that basswood for quite a while, and I'm brand new to using my knife blade. So I think this was a really good first project. All right, everyone, if you enjoyed this, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to answer the question of the day, and let me know if you're doing any fall crafting. This is probably one of my final pieces for my outdoor area. I already have my mums out, and pumpkins are coming soon, but my door just needed something perfect for autumn. So I am loving this. I can't wait to hang it up, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think. I'm really inspired to use the knife blade some more, and I actually have another idea coming up, so I'm super excited. So be sure you're subscribed if you want to see a little bit more about what's coming to my craft table. And don't forget that November 1st we are doing the gift guide, so 15 days in a row of crafting for Christmas, and it's all going to be about Christmas crafts that you can do for either friends, families, neighbors, anything, and pretty much it's going to reach any price point, and a lot of it is pretty affordable, which is always nice around the holidays because sometimes it seems like there's a lot to buy for. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Please be sure to let me know, and I will see you guys all in the next video.